Hello and welcome to the next video of my MSI 2023 preview series. As we start to get towards the end here, I think we only have JDG, DFM, and then LEC, and so 5 teams because we have the 2 LEC teams and the VCS. So JDG, 1, I put LCK on here because there are so many Koreans on this team. Of course I would do that because there's 2 Koreans on this team. Dumbass. LPL. The LPL winners are JDG. This is an all-star team. I said this before the split. I didn't think they would be coming to MSI as the 1 seed, and they are. An exciting team. Star-studded. Just making sure I'm still on the board. Coach is Home. Home has kicked around for a little bit. He was with Team Wii at one point in his career. That's where he got a lot of this experience. He's 39-21 internationally and been to Worlds 3 times, finishing in the semifinals in 2017 and last year. And in 2020, he dropped out in quarters. Only one other time has he went to MSI, and that was in 2017 with Team Wii in dropping out in semifinals. So he's been here before. We've seen he and Tabe go back and forth a bit. Talking some smack last week. JDG getting the better of it, winning in the end. And I think a lot of that has to do with top lane, but I talked about that then, and I kind of beat that one to death. Nevertheless, this team is probably the best one on paper at this tournament. 369 in top lane. All 5 of these players yesterday, Rainbow 7. Only Adi had international experience. This team, everybody has been here before. On a big international stage. So 369, 19-10 in his career. 203 KDA, 806 CS per minute, 56.9 KP. He is putting himself, Bin is, to me, Bin is the best top laner in the world in lane. But 369, and he kind of showed it in the finals, why there is an argument that he could be better than Ben, because he is willing to do what he has to do to win. He fell on the sword. Before the split, I was saying, JDG, somebody has to fall on the sword. It's probably going to be 369, but somebody has to make this work. We have a carry, and a support that is more enchanter-based, really, in skill. So somebody has to play the ugly champ that doesn't get the love, that takes all the pressure, that just goes in and dies and creates some CC and facilitates. And that's what 369 did. And these numbers internationally, they may look average, but he is much better than what these numbers say. 398 gold per minute, 519 damage per minute, 15 solo kills in 29 games. And also, you're going to know that the top side of this rift internationally gets ahead in its matchups. On average, 369 up, 480 gold, 8 CS, 210 XP. That's a pretty good deal. Think about all the teams I've went over in the last week and a half. They are not opening up big gaps like that. And if they are, there's play-in games in there helping them. JDG's players did not get that opportunity to play against some, play-in teams and boost their stat line. So 369, absolutely outstanding. Internationally, Worlds 2020 and 2022 out in semifinals. In LPL playoffs, these numbers definitely show a weak side top laner. He is eating crow. He is just not in the limelight. 3.8 KDA, 7.4 CS per minute, 56.4 KP, 369 gold per minute, 425 damage per minute. Somebody said something about Bong playing weak side. No, this is a weak side player. This is what a weak side player is. Bong, in my opinion, if you looked at his champion pool, I would only say 8 of the 18 games he played were very tanky, the Malphite Scion Cho'Gath angle, where 369, that's the majority of his stuff. I mean, I could look back at it and maybe I'm wrong, but that's the vibe I feel. He's outstanding, and I mean, he has the potential to take over lane and compete with Zeus and Bin at the highest level, but then at the same time is willing to play Scion, play Ornn, play things like that and let Knight carry or Kanavi carry. And we'll get into Kanavi in a second. And this is where you start seeing the difference here and why JDG is so good. Kanavi, 15-9 internationally, 2.41 KDA, 6.8 CS per minute. In my opinion, Kanavi is 1B in terms of best junglers in the world. Canyon, 1A, Kanavi, 1B. 67.3 KP, 388 gold per minute, 414 damage per minute. 3 solo kills. On average, up 265 gold, 7 CS, 255 XP. He gets ahead in his matchups. He is a carry-oriented jungler. I've seen him play some good facilitator games as well, but when it comes down to it, Kanavi is a carry, and that is why 369's numbers are hurt a bit. And we'll get into it when we look at the LPL playoff numbers a bit closer. Worlds 2020, Kanavi out in semifinals, 2020 out in quarters, 2022 out in semifinals. LPL playoffs, 4.7 KDA, 6.1 CS per minute, 71.7 KP. So when I look at this, I see a top laner giving up some pressure in lane, you know. How do I word this? So 369's eating pressure, not being able to get farm, giving up some camp, giving up some waves to make things happen, help Kanavi out. Kanavi is then making up that difference and getting gold in his own way, more so than your average jungler. We see a lot of 5.4s at this tournament, a couple 5.6s, but how many are above 6, right? Not many. So Kanavi is one of the more fed junglers at this event. 381 gold per minute, 419 damage per minute. Just an outstanding player. One of my favorite players in the world. I think he's just absolutely excellent. In mid lane, we have Knight. Knight, I would consider the second best mid laner in the world behind Chovy. Now, I will say Scout played better than both. Scout is not here. So, it is what it is. But Knight, 12-9 internationally, 3.96 KDA, 905 CS per minute, 62.3 KP. A little more lane focused. You know, some people got in an argument, well, not an argument, but we might have back and forth, I think, on the Discord about Knight and Chovy and how Knight gets around and makes things happen. But really, at least internationally, that hasn't been the case. He's more of a laner. If he can take on that next step, kind of like Chovy did this year, it gets really scary, and who knows, this event could be it. We see these LPL playoff numbers, and maybe that's already begun. That next step, that acceptance that, hey, I need to do more than just farm, play in the side lane, have a nice KDA, and win the KDA crown at Worlds as my team doesn't get out of group stage, which is what happened last year. 422 gold per minute, 501 damage per minute, only 3 solo kills, on average up 365 gold, 6 CS, and 240 XP. So another player that gets ahead in his matchup. Worlds 2020 out in semifinals, and then last year with Top Esports out in groups. LPL playoffs, these numbers lower than you would like, but he's taking on more of a facilitator role. 4.4 KDA, 8.3 CS per minute, 73.8 KP. And this is where I say, you can give up farm, you can give up a wave, you can back off if you want. Somewhere else your team has to make up for that. If you're leaving lane and giving up a wave and losing your matchup, well, not, you know, lose it. Yeah, you are. You're giving up a bit in your matchup, and you've went bot lane and you're trying to execute a dive. That 73.8 KP tells me he's involved in nearly 3 out of every 4 kills, right? So something is happening when Knight gets around the rift. He is leading this team. Well, actually, he and missing. There's actually a lot of facilitation going on here, but nevertheless, he is executing on his plays, which is important. It's very important. 434 gold per minute, 620 damage per minute. Then you have Ruler. Best AD carry in the world. One of the best, if not the best ever. He's in that conversation. Obviously, Uzi's in there as well. 55-25 over his career. This is the first time he's ever went to MSI. So 80 Worlds games before he had one MSI trip. 3.79 KDA, 9.48 CS per minute, 67.1 KP. We have to keep in mind these numbers start in 2016. It was a different time then. 435 gold per minute, 567 damage per minute, 8 solo kills, 165 gold up, 1 CS, 105 XP. So he first 15 minutes he keeps up with his opponents. Doesn't blow them out on average. He is better in the mid to late game. At international events over his career, Worlds 2016 he finished runner-up. 17 he would win, so he is a champion. 18th out, 2018 out in groups. 2020 out in quarters, and then the last 2 years at Worlds he was out in semifinals. In the LPL playoffs he ate well. And by that I mean 8.3 KDA, 10.4 CS per minute, 69.3 KP, 491 gold per minute, 630 damage per minute. That is where all of Knight and 369, well, a good portion of Knight and 369's farm went. Let's feed Ruler. Let's let Ruler carry. Now, for a lot of the split, that wasn't the case. This is an adjustment that I feel has been made in playoffs. Knight really didn't have numbers like he does right now, in my opinion. And 369, definitely not. And this is a good adjustment. Ruler is definitely a player that you want to put your eggs in terms of put your eggs in his basket sort of deal. Very good player. I mean, nearly 500 gold per minute. You're not going to find anybody with that much gold per minute in this tournament. He is the most fed player at this event. And another interesting thing, though, Knight nearly deals as much damage, which is a bit concerning. Only reason I'm saying that is because if you're going to invest so much gold into a player and give them so many resources, they should be dealing a similar percentage of damage. And that's not quite the case here. Missing 10-4, only has been to Worlds once last year. Dropping out in semifinals alongside Hope. Hope inting his face off. 2.14 KDA, 71.6 KP, 2.46 vision score per minute, 1.61 wards placed per minute. Cleared 1 ward every 4 minutes, and then has a vision ward every other minute. Missing is outstanding. Once again, one of the best players in his role. Easily top 5. I think I had him top 5 before this split. Excuse me, just a great player. And alongside Ruler, learning from Ruler, this is very important for his development. In the playoffs, there aren't many stats for supports because the LPL kind of gatekeeps all their stats. 4.8 KDA, 78.3 KP. So he's involved in 4 out of every 5 kills. So this team likes to fight together. We have 4 players around 7. We have 3 players above 70. Ruler at 69%. 369 doing his own thing sometimes, which is the weak side player. It's evident in these KP numbers. So, yeah, I mean, this team I have as first in my power rankings going into the event. Next week I'll have my predictions on what I think is going to happen at this tournament. After all the teams are done the day before day 1. But as far as I'm concerned, this is a star-studded roster. And people are going to say, oh, but choke this, that, and the third. And it's like, the league community, every year there's a different winner. So every year there's a different choker. It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. And to choke, you have to be the favorite, in my opinion, of the whole tournament. You can't go in as like a 3 seed and lose to a 6 seed and someone say you were going to choke, because really there was no pressure to choke on because of, like, you were third. You were projected to win. So just a weird thing. You know, it's just, you know, it is what it is. So if you like the video, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter. Join the Discord. Become a YouTube supporter. And thank you for watching.